This thing always fails to post a tweet. I don't understand why.
I don't know.
It's weird. I hope this isn't too loud. Can you pop on there and see if it's loud?
Sure.
I had issues with the microphone today. Go away, thing.
What? God damn it, phone. Why are you being weird? Alright, sound.
Because weird phones are weird.
Phone is being weird. I don't hear anything. Are we talking?
We are talking. There's going to be a little bit of a delay, though.
Say something.
Say something.
It's really quiet on my end, but it could be my computer.
Hold up. How about now? Is it louder? How about this? Is this better?
That's better.
There we go.
That's better. And they're going to be able to hear the kids in the background playing Wii Sports.
Yeah, they're going to be loud as usual. That's fine. They're kids.
Mom,
Yep.
can I have your tablet?
My tablet is dead. If you want to charge it, hold on. We have children. Come on. Don't take it in my bedroom.
But I'm in the boys.
Then
Yeah, she has her little,
fort thing.
she has her fort built. So,
Alright, hold on. Let me do a thing. This is why we call it chaos. Right? This is why it's called chaos. Because children. Come on, girlfriend.
why did you put ice in your brother's drink?
Here you go, man.
Melissa, you're so weird.
All plugged in. Go. Go.
Yes!
The door is open to their bedroom.
I'm gonna go close it.
Thank you.
Right.
Maybe. I think we'll be all right.
Back to
Okay.
page 2. Stay here. Stay.
All right, let's get started on this lovely Saturday evening. Sort of lovely. It's not very lovely because it's actually
hot.
stupid hot outside. Hello, welcome to the stream. I don't know, because you blew it.
Oh crap.
Sheesh.
It's very blue. Why is it so
I don't know. It's probably because there's blue light somewhere. I don't know. We don't have the backlight on. That's likely it.
Ah, should I turn on the black light?
Maybe.
Okay.
People don't come to hear me, to see me. They just come to hear the stories. So,
Well, it might be a bit of both.
see? Now it's
Woo!
not blue.
Oh, now it is not blue.
You no longer blew it.
Ah, well, that's good. At least I didn't blow it anymore.
Giggity. All right. Welcome to first chapter Chaos. In this case, we're actually going to be doing second chapter Chaos. I'm your host, Lathina, with the forever guest. I can't get rid of her.
Never.
Asher, author of The 13th Zodiac. Here to read Dust of a Moth's Wing. Dust of a Moth's Wing by Ramey Guerrero. What else should I say about it? I don't know.
The first book in, like, apparently 13.
Yeah, the first book of a bunch.
Yep.
I mean, there's going to be... They are going to write a lot of those books, which is awesome. Because the story of Nokhum must be told. So, like I said, we're going to actually start on chapter 2 per the author's request. And I guess...
No, hold on. Let me go get one thing before I forget.
The book?
Yeah.
Go get the book. That's probably a good idea.
I've got a Kindle, so.
Yeah. I think Alyssa has a Ken doll somewhere, too.
No, I don't think she actually has any Ken dolls. Surprisingly enough.
She has Scientist Barbie, which is always awesome.
And Astrophysicist Barbie.
Also awesome.
There is the book.
The wonderful book by Ramey Guerrero. Back of the book.
Back of book.
Actual back of the book.
And look, we're going to make it take its clothes off.
That is lewd and not necessary. Ow. She's incorrigible. I'd like to read this at some point in time.
Eventually.
Actually, I can read most of this without you.
Yeah.
She only does the
voices.
girls'
I guess
voices.
I can do that one guy's voice if you want me to.
Which, that one guy is oddly not specific. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Don't stare at me like that. That's weird.
I'm not staring at you. I'm looking at the camera.
Oh, don't stare at the camera. You're not supposed to break the fourth wall unless you're the host.
Well, I'm here.
Stare off in the middle distance.
Okay.
Like over here. Are you staring over here? Doesn't look like it. Look at that rainbow right there. It just got out of prism. All right, we're actually going to start reading now. Dust of a Moth's Wing, Chapter 2. Nokhum, Tribe of Yeriku.
Apologize now if we pronounce anything wrong.
Yeah, feel free to correct me. I'd say correct me in chat, but that's not going to help. So just yell at me later if you're watching this, Ramey, because I'm sorry. Pronunciations are not my forte.
Yes.
All right, Chapter 2, Nokhum, Tribe of Yeriku. Crouched in the waxberry bushes between shops, Nokhum exhaled into cupped hands for warmth. Great clouds billowed, born from his breath. Terrifying and bright, the fog practically illuminated the dark alley of my children screaming in the background, caught by the moonlight. His deer-like ears swiveled underneath the hood of his ovut head wrap, listening. Oh, you can't see it. My ears were wiggling too. It wasn't wise to linger, not even under the guise of berry gathering. In the sleepy hours between night and day, no one would be fooled. He listened, scratching the point of his ear under the cloth. A curl of dark hair came loose, and he whisked it away. Farandeel armor clanked in the distance. Coming nearer, Nokhum was well hidden, but he ducked into the foliage. With his bony spine pressed against a mud wall, he didn't dare breathe. He peeked through a bare spot toward the mouth of the alley. Two protectors walked along the main road patrolling for troublemakers. The plates of metal covering their extremities glimmered in the sparse light. Nokhum's muscles tensed. Surely they could hear his hammering heart. The pair lumbered past, not looking right or left. It's been too long. I should go. The protectors are out looking for me. Ignoring his instincts, Nokhum resolved to wait just a while longer. He dug his toes into the dirt as the children screamed in the distance. There was screaming in the distance again.
Oh my god! What the heck?
Sorry. They're playing Wii Sports on the Switch. I guess Switch Sports. And it's going to be...
Intense.
Jared is excitable.
Oh, Jared is loud.
Jared is excitable. Anyways. He dug his hose. He dug his hose into the dirt. He dug his toes into the dirt. There was comfort from the familiar texture. For an instant, he closed his tired, gray eyes. The peace of the pre-dawn was short-lived. Traffic on the main road grew into a trickle. I should go home, he sighed. I can't wait here any longer. I'll have to find Kikatia another way. I didn't think they would find anything. Frustration weighed heavy on him. Adjusting the strap of his pack across his shoulder, Nokhum pushed away from the wall. Then he stopped at a faint humming. His brow knotted, and he pulled back his hood, freeing his ears. The cloth of his avut pulled over his nose concealed his smile. An emerald flitterbird hovered at his side, a scroll in its tiny grasp. Its long beak pointed like a dart as it beat its wings. As a show of trust, Nokhum uncovered his face, pushing the cloth under his chin. He scratched his dark beard. He didn't know where the flitterbird found an oracle painting, or how. It was against the rules of the forest to ask. Instead, Nokhum took the page from the tiny bird's grasp. Without untying the thread to unroll it, he slid the cracking brown paper into the undone seam in his sleeve. When it was safely out of sight, he rummaged through his pockets until he found a clay tube. He struggled to free the cork. The bird puffed its feathers, darting back and forth, chirping impatiently. Nokhum used a stick to pry the cork from the opening. It dislodged with a pop as the children come down the hallway.
You have that arm?
He said enthusiastically.
Body
What? Wait. What?
leg strap.
No. A leg strap?
Don't play the games that need the leg strap, please.
No leg strap.
No leg strap. Why?
Because I have to find it. Don't worry about the leg strap. Play something else without the leg strap.
Please,
Sorry.
they said.
Close the door.
As they skulked off, dejectedly.
Oh no! We can't move with that one.
Can we close their door?
I can close
Because they are going to be loud.
They're going to be loud. Oh, we're gonna have more chaos in this one than the last one.
Yeah, last time they were quiet. Last two, actually, they were pretty quiet. Zip it, Buck Rogers. Delicious. It dislodged with a pop, bouncing across the dirt. The emerald flitterbird trilled happily before diving its beak into the tube of honeysuckle nectar. Nokhum chuckled. I have an oracle painting, part of one at least. He couldn't dwell long on this triumph. The wind whispered threats of danger. With the last of the sweets slurped up, the bird zipped away. Tucking his ears back under his hood, Nokhum pulled his avut up over his nose and walked into the middle of the road. The traffic trudged onward, sleepy-eyed and sluggish, paying Nokhum no heed. Horseless mechanical carts rumbled past on the left. People in dark cloaks pulled tight, walked to the right. In the last breaths of winter, people tended to clump together to avoid the frosted bite, especially in this gray time before dawn. This suited him. In the crowd, he was just another Yeriku, just a child of mud and dust. Ahead, a protector stopped a scrawny, stunted man with gray-brown skin and dark-brown hair, clothed in gray, like Nokhum. The protector grasped the man by the face as he trembled before them. I'm just on my way to the gardens for a day of weeding, he whined. The protector scowled, turning to his partner. Usually, the protectors couldn't tell his people apart. Not that they tried. The people of the stone-faced tribe of Onrix were quick to dismiss their inferiors. The crowd was a mass of gray-brown skin and earthy fabrics. A breeding ground for anonymity when they all looked the same. Knowing his gray eyes could betray him among the others with brown, Nokhum kept his gaze downturned as he passed them. Most of his fellow travelers were gardeners on their way to the soil temple. The smell of delta soil was thick in the air. Occasionally he spied a tassi sprinkled into the crowd like a golden grain of salt. Their golden skin and sea silk clothing stuck out among earthy fabrics. Even Akla potters ventured to the Yeriku district for a hot cup of tea on mornings like this, their pockets jingling with coin. Spiced steam wafted from shop doors as they swallowed their patrons. After a while, only Yeriku remained with him. As the crowd dwindled, Nokhum broke away from the main road. His ears twitched beneath his avut's hood, listening for anyone who might be following. The footpaths leading to the hive where he lived were practically deserted. The few that did pass him did so cursing and huffing, taking no notice of him in their haste. Even before sunrise, time slowed for no one. As his home neared, the path became overgrown with weeds. They clung to the cuffs of his pants, and he stepped gingerly. Birds and crickets hushed. When he passed their grassy nests, they didn't resume their songs. Nokhum itched to turn to look behind. Paranoia whispered in his ear, "Someone saw, someone knows. Someone will send the protectors to break down your door." Nokhum glanced over his shoulder, seeing nothing but the pines. Regardless, he quickened his pace. It was cold, after all. Not cold enough to freeze his avut to his beard, but it was the type of chill that could settle in a person's bones. "Someone saw, someone knows, someone will send the protectors to break down my door." He wove explanations in his mind. He was only there to meet Tolmaso, the human from the city of Parosh. He meant no harm. Of course, nothing he said would matter. Webs of lies were pointless if no one listened. When he had agreed to meet Tolmaso at the Clay Poppy Inn last night, Nokhum intended only to have quiet conversation, with few witnesses, under a friend's watchful gaze. "Oi!" Tolmaso crowed when Nokhum had walked through the crowd of humans and underlings. Lawasi servers bustled about, casting him curious glances. Few Lawasi came to the inn's tavern. There were better places for Lawasi to drink in their homeland. Tolmaso waved him over. His silks made him look like a peacock in iridescent sapphire, emerald, and jade. Brown eyes sparkled at him, although Nokhum wished he wouldn't shout. He straightened, walking confidently when he felt like running. Tolmaso stood, immediately toppling into a serving girl. He clapped Nokhum on the back, causing him to spill most of the ungog in his bowl. "Clumsy." He groaned inwardly. Nokhum knelt across from him, both hands grasping his bowl. He didn't lean back against the stuffed pillows. "Two more!" Tolmaso slapped the serving girl on the behind. She yelped, "I should leave right now." But he didn't. His obsession blinded him to reason. Tolmaso had answers. Nokhum was sure of it. Tolmaso knew where Kikatia was. His life mate was still out there. "Don't you know? I will be king. Just you wait and see." Tolmaso slurred. The human from Parosh was already slobbering drunk. He was a forehead shorter, so when he hunched over to use a stool for balance, he hardly came to Nokhum's waist. His short black hair was braided in the style of the wealthy members of his city. Nokhum took a sip of Ngog, liquid dribbling down his beard. "I hope this gives me courage. You called for me? How did you find me?" He wanted to blurt out, but he held his tongue, a wise choice. "Come, sit with me." Wishing to speak of rumors, Nokhum coaxed the man. Rumors claimed certain humans bribed the protectors. They smuggled things out of the city, bypassing the ports, somehow. As goods were only taxed when a merchant arrived in Wen, it seemed suspicious, especially with the way the humans salivated for magical things. "You don't order me." Tolmaso flung his arm out to the side, upsetting the tray of drinks in the serving girl's hands. "I am king. Bring me another slave." Nokhum inhaled sharply. The girl turned on her heel, bottom lip quivering. He wanted to say something. "We have no slaves in Wen. Is she afraid of him? What does she know, I wonder? Maybe the same things I know." He tugged on Tolmaso's sleeve. "Please, sit with me." He hoped his change of tone would calm him down. "You came here to know what the old general knows." Tolmaso burped, then laughed. "The general?" Flint. Flint couldn't be working with the slavers. He was on the Council of Elders. In all Nokhum's years in the holes, he'd never seen them together. "That old man's got him in his book. Knows every..." pointing to his right forearm. He nodded. Nokhum covered the burned prisoner's mark he received in the holes. Tolmaso ranted for almost an hour about the general. Nokhum could only hope others weren't listening. "But me, I can't find anyone." I can find anyone." Pushing himself up with his hands, Tolmaso spun around. snagging his boot on the carpet. Arms outstretched, he fell right in between an underling tourist's breasts. She gasped in outrage. An underling man stepped in front of her. "You gonna say you're sorry, or am I gonna have to make you?" He cracked his knuckles before reaching for the hilt of his axe. "Oh no." Nokhum tensed as Tommaso stood. The men were the same height, but the underling was nothing but muscle. "I am king, you will bow to me." Tommaso punched the man in the nose. Blood spurted everywhere. The Peroshi grabbed the white-haired underling, and the woman jumped on his back. "You will bow to me." He wriggled out of her grasp. The serving girl tried to stop the fight, but Tommaso grabbed the tray from her hands and slapped the underling woman across the face with it. Nokhum stood, slipping out of the chaos before the protectors could be called. He ran. All Nokhum needed was proof. If he could expose the smugglers, it would force the Council of Elders to investigate. No doubt they'd discover that humans would do anything to possess magic, even if it meant stealing the magically talented ones from the prison. The Council would put an end to this. Only then would they allow him to assemble a party to seek out the lost. It had been a mistake to accept the Peroshi's invitation. That much Nokhum knew. The city of Perosh was unfriendly to him. He was crushed by mounting regrets. He only hoped waiting for the oracle painting wouldn't prove to be another mistake. Nokhum crossed from the grassy path to the root bridge that hugged the cliffside, passing the empty, gaping mouths of abandoned homes. Rumors said this area of the High was haunted by angry spirits. Only a few stubborn families refused to let curses and mischief drive them out, but it gave Nokhum the privacy he desired. His home was the only one still occupied on this level. Not even protectors were likely to follow him here. Beneath his numb toes, the bridge creaked softly with his weight. An image formed in his mind. By the brookside, a hairy-legged spider lived that lay trapweb over the dirt. He learned many lessons from her. With every other step, he nudged a gap in the roots of the bridge. If anyone did follow him, he'd hear them coming long before they made it to his door. It would give him time to flee. Standing outside his home, Nokhum squinted. Before he'd left, he'd drawn a charm in the dust. The goblin symbols crawled over the mud railing and along the curve of the front door. The dust lay undisturbed. He breathed a sigh of relief and lifted the latch. Most of the Lowasi didn't use goblin spells, but they served him well enough. Nokhum entered, pressing his back against the door until it clicked closed. Floating light orbs bounced along the ceiling, providing warmth as well as light, though barely enough to dispel the chill. The warmth of the room wrapped around him. Removing his avut and scratching the base of his long dark braid, he cringed. The house spirits, hating disorder, had been busy. The blankets were folded and draped over the hammock, the dishes were neatly stacked on their shelves, and the papers were collected in a neat pile on his desk. I have something for you." As he spoke, Nokhum pulled a small black mud pot from his pack. "It's fresh." He couldn't see the mosslings, but he knew the house spirits lurked somewhere in the room. The milk was warm from the heat of his body. He traded for it from an Awat reindeer tender for 3 jars of paint. Dandelion yellow, lily orange, and river clay red. Nokhum didn't need to ask questions to know why she wanted them. He'd stumbled upon the woman's cave paintings, east of the city, early yesterday. They honored the energies of fire. Even for a holy reindeer tender, this was forbidden. People were executed for less. Naturally, he had vowed to keep her secret. Nokhum crossed his threshold with a hesitant step. The mosslings did not retaliate. Retrieving a small bowl in the honey pot, he mixed milk and honey. He placed it by the doorframe where the stone tiles yielded to a mossy carpet. Politely, he turned away so the creatures could enjoy his apology unobserved. On his way to his desk, he passed his bedroom door. His reflection stared back at him from the darkness. Shadowy figures wandered about behind him. Nokhum forced himself to approach the mirror, heart pounding. Those shadowy beings were always watching. Near the base of the long oval mirror, they'd left his blanket in tatters. Sorry, my nose itches. He glared. Old stories claimed shadows ruled over the doomed and forgotten spirits of his people. Those people became Wookiee-Ru. They called to him, wanting him to join the lost people. "One day you will join us," the mirror hissed. He shivered at their words. Nokhum didn't dare slumber under their gaze. Dark crescents had formed under his glassy eyes. Eventually, though, he would succumb to sleep's call. He yearned for his hammock in the front room. He reached for his most scratchy cloak, yanking it off the hook. Standing as far from the mirror as he could, he tossed the cloak over the carved ash frame. Before he could cover the silver, one silhouette stepped forward. With a sharp fingernail, it etched symbols into its side of the reflection. "Not today," Nokhum growled, pulling the cloak across the frame. He hated that mirror, but it was Ki Katia's, and he couldn't bear to part with it. Going to his desk, he sat on the stool. He glanced over the bare slate desktop. Journals, papers, and charcoals were all that remained. Everything else was safely stored. Nokhum groaned. "Please return my pipe." The odor of burning burgundy offended the mosslings. "I promise not to smoke inside again." He scratched the scar on the bridge of his nose. "I've been inconsiderate." Sighing, he shrugged. "I deserved this. Anyway, thank you for tidying up." Nokhum reached for the familiar journal that always lay in the right-hand corner of his desk. It was gone. He had to write down the details of the meeting before they evaporated from his mind. It's gone. Frantically, he tore through the neat stacks until he found it under 3 other journals. "Don't ever touch this," he growled at the mosslings, wherever they were. Papers stuck out randomly, and the journal was worn from constant use. Gently, he turned to the first blank page, past crude maps, notes, and witness statements. He scribbled the details of Tommaso's visit, circling "Flint has answers." Placing it on the right-hand corner of his desk, he exhaled deeply. Nokhum eased the oracle painting from his tunic's sleeve. The Council of Elders claimed they'd all been destroyed. Now he held one. The histories claimed they were trapped inside when a mob torched the libraries. No one and nothing survived. Like smoke, his tribe's secrets vanished on the wind. When he noticed how the edges were charred black, his stomach flopped. This painting had been torn from fire's jaws. Saved while the knowledge keepers perished. But not all was lost. There was this painting. There once were legends told of worlds beyond this one. Some were far away, while others practically overlapped. No one was allowed to tell those stories anymore. Anyone who broke the law had their tongue cut out. Regardless, the tales lived on, in fragments and slivers. Sliding the thread off the page, Nokhum gently unrolled the painting. The aged paper crackled. Though the painting remained intact, he cringed at the sound. The libraries had burned nearly 1,500 years ago, but this page didn't seem to be that old. The colors hadn't begun to cake or flake. The image was crisp, as vibrant as if the paint was still wet. He sniffed. Lavender. The paint was enchanted. Nokhum hunched over the painting, using his elbows to hold down the edges. Impatience coursed through him like an elusive itch. For a long while he studied the image. Absently, he reached into his tunic for his moonstone, woven into a willow cord. Rubbing his thumb over the stone, he closed his eyes. Legends said, with the right spell, the painting could become a window into anywhere. So his friends in the forest believed. Tracing a moon symbol over the stone's smooth surface, Nokhum glanced down. The painting was unchanged. Saffron roads met in a clearing. Paths like spokes on a great wheel cut through a forest of odd-colored trees, the same as before. Nokhum released the stone to fall back against his chest. With dawn approaching, the moonstone's magic waned. Moon magic couldn't be performed in the day. Everyone knew that. He rested his forehead upon his fist. I have no idea what I'm doing. What if it doesn't work? How will I find my life mate then? Nokhum's ears twitched at the faint creak of the root bridge outside. The end of chapter 2. A little bit of intrigue going on there. What's happening with fire? Why is it illegal? I don't know. It's a hot topic for the day. And you can find out in The Age of Fire, Dust of a Moth's Wing by Ramey Guerrero. Wait a minute. Let me figure out how I'm supposed to point. There you go. Ramey Guerrero, the author. You can find them on Twitter at, I don't remember.
Ramey_Guerrero?
Yeah, is that it?
I have to look it up.
That's
I
rough.
usually just type in
Just at.
R and
Yeah.
then it just pops up. So
I gotcha. I just type in at Ramey and it usually pops up.
it's at Guerrero_Ramey. It's the other way.
That?
Yes.
I'll pop it in the chat. Though I
It's
suspect
available.
that's probably...
The book is available wherever books are sold, including Amazon, I think Barnes & Noble,
some other place that
some other
sells
places.
books.
Lots of places
Probably
that
another place that sells books.
some places that sell books.
You can get it wherever books are sold.
Yay.
Short stream, short and sweet again today. I
And-
think we've been keeping these to right around a half an hour plus or minus.
Yeah.
So pretty good.
The kids in the background don't help.
Yeah, the kids in the background don't help. They don't hinder, at least this time. Not as
no,
much.
the first book though, good lord.
Yeah, the first one.
We
was-
let them have
was pretty
Chick-fil-A.
rough.
That was why. And
They spilled something, yeah. Not this time.
No, this time we just get to listen to them fight in video games.
At least they're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
We hope they're having fun. No one is crying, so at least nobody got hurt, and that's the important
as far as
thing.
we know.
That's the important thing. All right, I think we're pretty much all done with today's stream.
Mhm.
Did you have anything that you needed to say?
I think we have 2 choices for the next one.
2 choices. Oh
Mhm.
shit!
2
I hate choices.
Well, okay. So we either have.
Let's let the fan decide.
Oh. Either Rance's book, his.
Did we get permission to do his?
He said yes.
Oh, he said yes.
His Ragged Company, or
Who's
Katie's
Ragged Company?
Rance's Ragged Company. That's the name of the book.
Why does he keep Ragged Company?
I don't know.
He should probably let them rest.
Should probably. Okay. Or Katie's book, Between the Birches.
Oh, Birch, please. Tough choice. Maybe we'll put a Twitter poll up or something.
Ooh, Twitter poll.
We'll be all Twitter-pated or something with the Twitter poll.
Twitter polls. Sounds good. I
Twitterpoly.
guess I'll run it. Cause
Yeah, because I have like, I don't know,
65 people that love
65 people that adore my terrible jokes.
and pictures of me.
Well, I mean,
They liked yours better than mine, though.
no, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Oh, they
I mean,
liked
like a
the
bunch of
pic.
people
Yeah,
asked if you were
I have
married, okay?
I didn't tag you.
Well,
This isn't a competition.
yes,
No, it's not.
he's better.
No, I am not.
Yes, he
At math, and
Yes.
that's about it. You know you done mathed up when you ask me for help. Anyway, I think we're gonna call it there. Thanks for watching. We'll put up the VOD pretty much after this is over, and I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Anything else?
No, not that I can.
Okay, so we got Rance's book. We got Between the Birches. We got, or that's Katie's book. So we got
Yeah.
Rance's book, Katie's book,
And then we'll find more
and then we'll find more
eventually.
eventually. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us. I am going to go have a root beer float.
Oh, no, and strawberry cake.
I am not going to have strawberry cake.
Why not?
See ya.
I made you strawberry cake. Why won't you have the strawberry cake?
Because I don't want strawberry cake.
I made strawberry cake.
Have you seen me? I'm
Yes,
fat. I
it's-
don't feel
so
like
what?
continuing to get fat.
Well, I made
I
you
should
strawberry
probably
cake.
mute this.
No, it's okay. You're eating strawberry cake because I made it for you.
No, you didn't.
Yes.